Well, if our conversations this weekend were, today were any indication, we're having a lot of conversations about pathways to sustainability that involve both public and private funding of both public and private organizations. And with all that interest in those conversations, I'm really glad, Stefanie, that you're here with us today to talk about what you experienced investing, close to $10 million in this kind of work. So let's hear directly from the funding.
I'm here to talk about scary public funding. So I'm Stefanie Murray. I'm here to talk on behalf of the New Jersey Civic Information Consortium, which is a nonprofit in the state of New Jersey that was founded in part by an act of the legislature. And we think we're the only nonprofit in the country giving away both private and public money through this really kind of unique nonprofit model that involves universities and politicians, yes. So set the stage. Jersey's a highly diverse state, very, very dense. We're sandwiched between these two major media markets. There's not even a commercial television station that just serves us. And we have been hit by the local journalism crisis. However, we have a lot of hyper-local digital native startups, a lot of innovation in our state. But funding was really hard to come by. So a group of stakeholders got together several years ago and said, how can we help diversify funding in the state? What about public money? Which sounds a little apt to some folks, but at that time, we were selling off broadcast spectrum. Our state made $330 million in the broadcast spectrum sale, and we thought, how do we put some of that money back into media in the state? Chris Christie said, absolutely not. He slammed that money in a budget hole. However, the idea stuck around, and Murphy's administration, through the Senate and the Assembly, approved it, he signed it, and the consortium became part of the law and was created after that. So our board is huge, it's 16 and probably growing. Political appointees and universities, which sounds horrifying, right? But it's actually worked out really well because the legislation requires bipartisan and requires some specific skill sets on our board. So we got the legislation passed, we formed the nonprofit, we got the board set up, then we started focusing on some key areas. So our legislation actually did lay out some kind of big things that our public funding was supposed to support, but we wanted to go even deeper than that. So these are the certain areas that the consortium has focused on. First and foremost, quality and quantity of civic information, not journalism, civic information is really important. We want to try to give people access to government info, we want to train people, we want to nurture better civic engagement in our state, and better meet the information needs, especially of marginalized, harmed, and low-income communities, and also investments in research and best practices. And so that's a lot on these two slides. There's two slides back to back. That's a trick when you do an Ignite talk. Put 2 slides in a row. So we first got $500,000. That came in, went right out. We didn't hire any staff. We just sent out 14 grants of $35,000 and had a little bit to pay for accountants and stuff. But it got us started. And so where I work at the Center for Cooperative Media, we did all the back office support. Then we got another $1 million from the state. We got another $1 million from the state. We got $2 million from the state. And we got private philanthropy to invest in our work. And that has been absolutely transformational. These are some of the grantees up there. This year we've got $4 million that's coming in from the state, plus another $1 million from private money over the last 3 years, over the further 3 years. So by the end of next year, we'll have given out $10 million in public funding directly to support media in our state. That was so we have 52 grantees right now. 40% of them are BIPOC, and we are in 15 of our 21 counties. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the grantees. Ridgeview Echo. This was started by local people in a rural community that lost their newspaper. A couple of them had kind of journalism backgrounds, but most of them didn't. But they knew that their community needed something. They came to the consortium. They're one of our most successful grantees now with a hyperlocal startup. Radio Gerlara, NJ, is started by Unidad and Acción Latina. And it's an alternative radio station that specifically focuses on giving voice to workers who are excluded from our society, migrant workers and undocumented workers, and it's all in Spanish, and it's been a major lifeline for folks. We've also revitalized the Black press in just a few years in our state. Black in Jersey, Public Square Amplified, Trenton Journal, these are all brand new startups specifically serving Black communities in New Jersey, and the Black press had really been decimated in our state. We also support Muslim.co, which is a growing news organization that's got a big following on social media for the Muslim communities in our state, the New York News and Story Collaborative. We have so many grantees, I didn't know who to put on there. I also have to give a shout out to my team at the center. We've done a lot of the back office support for the home, and we've, for the last 12 years, been building relationships and building our ecosystem, which is really what's also helped the consortium kind of hit the ground running when it comes to getting funding in hand. And so up next, we're kind of like a Press Forward New Jersey before Press Forward was a thing. We're trying to raise money, we have a $50 million pot. We've heard from some legislators that they will continue to vote for us, especially if there might be some public-private matching. So that 50 million number could double, maybe. So we think this has been a success. There's obviously some public funding happening in other parts of the country. California is one, but I'm happy to tell you more about New Jersey if you want.